Okay.
And now it's on tomorrow again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and kind of through the weekend, which Eric, I think we should just do the parking lot. We got the emergency route and wait till Saturday or Sunday when all this, see what we get
Right.
for snow.
Sunday's high is -7.
I know, I'm just saying, this is gonna stick around a while.
We got spoiled for too long. Now we're gonna pay the price. Hmm?
Were you out on the road today, Eric?
I was just in Sioux Falls.
Oh,
Not too bad.
no, here in our Fargo then.
Nope, that's Friday. That's Aberdeen.
There's still, I have a couple coworkers in Sioux Falls who still have head plows come down their street.
Yeah, I think, my son-in-law, they just plowed his street yesterday.
My
On
mom
West Sioux
said her street was plowed in the middle of the night last night. And then our friends that live off of like Sycamore and 57th, as of noon today, they still hadn't seen a plow.
How about your street?
I came through last night, but I mean, there's been times where the plow shows up, I mean, late, or maybe not at all, I mean, and they use those snow gates, which are just, that's like the most irritating thing are these snow gates. It's not only, they always break, but all they do is, they can't get the gate up fast enough, so it just ends up being the stack of ice in your driveway. They have to like chip away at it with a spade. Yeah, because the arm doesn't go up fast enough, and then some folks in my neighborhood blow all of their snow in the street, and I live at a house that has a fire hydrant in all the mailboxes, so it's like doubling down for me. And then the one neighbor never clears the fire hydrant, and it's just like, yeah.
Well, the snow gates were very political, and when council thinks, oh, that looks good, we should do them. I knew they were gonna be the worst thing they could ever do. You can't get rid of that snow in that short a time off your moldboard before you get to the next driveway or the next.
You've been asked to operate it correctly.
Well,
They're not very user-friendly.
it's hard enough with just a straight blade. Let alone put that out there, and then it's all blades all wanting, you know.
I just saw your DocuSigns I'm doing right now.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sorry, I
That's-
missed it earlier.
Essentially with the software.
Yep.
I had to void out all of our checks and repost them. Yeah, just do whenever,
Yeah, I'm,
all unchanged.
$10.57, that's the latest council packet, right?
Yep,
Okay.
I just send the link now to the website because they'll have the most current version.
Okay. Is Mike gonna be here?
I haven't,
I don't know.
heard anything. Oh, it's past 6:00. Well, we'll call the meeting to order. You want to do roll call, Tobias?
Sure, Richardson,
Here.
Osby,
Here.
Fire,
Here.
Shooty.
Here.
Okay, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And just a quick application here. Lord, thank you for so far keeping us all safe and students and teachers and everybody back and forth to school. And all the people that protect us and keep us safe. And please let back on the snow for a few more weeks. Thank you. Amen. Is there a motion on the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Okay, the meeting minutes, is there a motion to approve them?
I need one correction to the December 11th meeting minutes.
Was that the name?
That was the name, yep. That should just be corrected from Chelsea Melius to Chelsea Christensen.
That was Chelsea that was here with.
Or open
Amelia.
comment. Yep.
She carries a different last
Okay.
name, Christensen.
I'll make a motion to approve with the correction.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. And the financials. Is there a motion to approve them?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Okay, claims. We've all had a chance to look at the January 10th claims. I just see we're splitting the baseball land check in half, one to John Moore and one to Michael Moore.
I was gonna ask that same thing. Okay, that was my only question on the claims, if that's what we're.
Is there a motion to approve the claims?
So
So-
moved.
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, same sign, motion carried. The consent calendar. Some garbage hauler licenses, renewal. What most of it all is, there a motion to approve the consent calendar.
It's just the license renewals, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Move to approve.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
No second to
So
that.
I'll second.
Oh, I'm sorry. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Open comments. Anybody have anything to say there? Then we'll go down to public hearings. There's no public hearings. And we'll get to the utility report, and I think most of that has to do with the AMI and the meter stuff, and I'll let Tobias, just,
Before we talk about that, I would like to just speak briefly on the gas rates, just so
Okay.
everyone knows. We have to liquidate volume, that's why they're a smidge higher than they were in like last month. And that was because December was so warm. Now, just in case someone asks, because we've had some folks reach out. AMI, Vicor came back with a quote. Vicor is the company that will install the electrical circuits and the antenna onto the tower, and will install the Neptune provided or purchased equipment from Neptune. Came in at, I think $18,000 some dollars. They need 50% down to proceed. We will then coordinate with them once we can go ahead and execute that. Because I reached out to Ferguson to get their equipment. This will not happen prior to early summer, just because of the lead times for the product. But we need to coordinate with both, because otherwise if they can't coordinate that schedule, we're gonna just delay it. So tentatively, the goal is to have it done by the end of July.
Is
And
this?
just wait till the other water tower is built?
Pardon me?
Wouldn't it just be simpler to wait till the other water tower is built?
Well, so they did the propagation study on that water tower, and that captured our current
Yeah,
system. I mean, I can ask him to do one on the other one if you'd like us to, but that water tower is gonna be years out.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, and what you can do is I think you can actually put, modules on both water towers to capture the read, so we could then see, if that's feasible, or if we need to add for additional range. But it's just, yeah.
Are
No,
we
I don't worry about
using,
it.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I won't worry about it, then just put it on the original water tower. For
Are we
now.
using water?
Oh, our water loss, is that what you're asking about?
No, this is for the water needs, right?
Correct. So
Yeah, but I mean,
AMI
are we funding from the water?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we would use what we have set aside, like tap fees and all that.
Yep.
So
Oh, yeah.
money that is restricted by ordinance, so it's not like just,
Yep.
coming out of other revenues.
So you just need a
So,
motion to approve that?
Proceed.
yeah, we need a motion to approve the proposal, sign the document, and then also place the purchase order and disperse the check for 50% of the proposal amount, which is $9,275, something like that.
Okay, so I make a motion to approve, notice proceed, the 50% disbursement, and then coordinate Ferguson, right?
Second.
Anybody have any comments about it? I didn't quite hear Eric, but were you, my thought was is the same thing. Can we utilize a new tower if we have to? I mean, at some point, maybe it's 25 years from now.
Yeah,
the
then,
water tower.
yes, they will do a study
They said
on
they
that
put,
then.
you could put a module, or even if we grow to the point where that existing module on the existing water tower doesn't capture
Hmm.
everything, then you would add
Yeah.
a second module to the new water
Yeah.
tower.
Yep.
So, yeah, you just do another propagation study. So what they do is like, they just looked at the height of the water tower, because they're gonna be both the same height, right? So it would probably be pretty easy just to put a module, and then based on that propagation study, and we discussed, I wanna say last year in September, maybe, remember that little sheet with like, where it looks like a heat map almost? We can ask them to do that, for future, if we wanna look at it, because the development will be south, and you can always add those modules. It's just gonna be probably the whole cost again. So it would have been nice is to actually have that as part of like the SRF project. So it could potentially be covered under their funding, but I don't know if that's possible. But it's gonna be exciting, gonna help us pin down that water loss even more, which we're at. With
15%?
adjustments, we're below the 15% ever since we beefed, up how we do meter readings, so good stuff.
Do we have a motion and a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Economic development, I haven't had a chance to talk to Mike. I would just say that, things are going pretty good. I'm pretty sure that, Casey's has, signed an option to buy a piece of ground out here on the, commercial, company out of Aberdeen is gonna build a strip mall. I don't know how many different, stores or compartments will be in there, I think 3 or 4, and that'll be on the south end. And I believe it'll face to the north, and Casey's would be over here on the north end. And then set back from there, they're gonna meet next week, but, it's been around for so long and we've talked to them for so many years, but this next week, Ace Hardware is gonna be visiting with, DWBP and the builder. So it looks like, they're getting closer to finally getting something done. I think it's been 3 years ago. I drove the Ace guy around a couple different times and we talked, but, between COVID and the interest rate and waiting, nobody wants to be the first one over here. So, I think we're gonna see that happen. I don't know if we'll see that happen in 24, but 25. I'm guessing they're gonna get all the stuff ironed out, maybe a late fall start on that.
For Casey's or for these?
On,
Okay.
8th.
Oh,
I believe, what they're saying is Casey's, you know, they've had something signed for darn near a year, but again, there's so much language in there where they can decide when and what to do, and, so they go through their legal department. I'm not in on those conversations. They, afterwards, either Daryl or Marlin will say, well, it's looking good, or, so I'm going by the sign that it's looking good. So, streets, I think, that slurry seal, I think we talked about that last meeting.
Mhm.
And, other than that, the snow, the guys are out, did snow. I think they did a good job. I just talked to Eric and, trying to, we do a text between him and I and Chad, but I'm trying to get Eric involved, so if I'm gone after a year from now, he's got a, at least handle on the way I'm doing it, and he can do it any way he wants, if he's on and still in charge of streets, but, I think we do a good job. Obviously, when they first went out, it was opening streets and doing, what do we call it, the emergency routes, and then afterwards going back and cleaning up curbs. Today, they were hauling snow out. By the way, we're just hauling the snow out to the Crooks development lot that we're looking at. It's much easier, and it saves on that parking lot when it comes spring. That thing gets so bad. We spend a lot of time dressing and fixing that back up, so I don't have anything other than that. I just say, my thoughts were that we don't do anything on the streets until after Saturday, when the last snow comes through. In between, we just do the emergency route, and like the office parking lot here, the community center parking lot, and let them go until, no sense in going out and then going out again a day later. I don't think so. And Eric, I just, like I say, I'm just trying to get him involved and let him decide as we go here. Planning and zoning.
they didn't have a meeting,
Okay.
so.
The only thing we're doing is updating our zoning map. That's like an administrative thing now.
Okay. I guess along with that, in economic development, I did, DWBP did tell me they sold 2 more lots along Hannah Trail. So there's gonna be a couple spec houses. I don't know if they're spec houses or if they're sold, but they'll be facing Hannah Trail. So there's a couple there. There's 2 way over there to the west, and then 2 others. So that's a pretty good start over there. Plus they got specs still going up in Heritage Pond. Government buildings and IT infrastructure.
Nothing new to report, just we'll discuss some of the shop financing and finance portion. That's it.
And that would, the AMI stuff and all that is part of what you're involved with.
Yeah.
Okay, parks, again, I don't think Mike set a park meeting, but last Friday, was able to get, and I think Mike was on his way to the football game. Anyway, I got Kip Rounds out here from Game Fish and Parks, and Tobias and I and Chad and Kip went down to Heritage Pond, drove around, looked at where the fishing pier is scheduled to go, kind of looked that over, and then talked about what kind of fish are gonna be stocked and when. The fishing pier is built. It's sitting down at Springfield where they build them at the prison down there, and then they haul it up in sections, and then Game Fish and Parks installs it. All the city is responsible for is any
Dirt work.
levying of ground, and then the cement head wall that the end of the dock would sit on. That's all we'd have to do, so I mentioned to Chad and Tobias, if we know there's gonna be a little bit of dirt work there when they're doing the park playground stuff, it'd be the time to have somebody come over and do that next.
And then Game Fish and Park stocks the pond. And then they said they do that twice a year?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it'll be late May or June, they wait and they go around all the lakes and take fish out of the lakes in eastern South Dakota and then stock them. And so there'll be good sized fish. I've got a list of them. I didn't bring it, but I'll just send you. I'll have Tobias blind copy an email on what's coming, and then yeah, then they'll also do trout, and I think that's more in the fall, but they will stock with trout also, and then they'll do that every year. They're very happy. There's a joint powers agreement that we're gonna have to sign with them before all that happens, and that'll come up so everybody will have a chance to look at that. So that's about all I know about parks. Finance, Jana.
I'll keep it short and sweet. We approved the vendor ACH, last month, so the first disbursements via ACH will be after the February meeting. End of year 2023 entries are prepared for all funds. Tobias is working on the 2023 annual report, which will be presented at the latest at the May meeting. However, he's hoping to do sooner. General fund, I guess we've closed out 2023, but revenues are expected levels or above. Revenues exceeded the budget levels in the liquor, lodging, and dining, which it typically does. We're usually pretty conservative about budgeting that. Special assessment fund, the interfund loan was repaid. Revenues exceeding budget levels. On the enterprise funds, the water funds, all major outflows have been settled at the end of the year. Revenues are at projected levels. New water loss threshold is 15%, like Tobias mentioned, although we'd like to see that closer to, what was it, under 10?
Yeah.
Under 10. So hopefully with this new meter install, that will help identify some of that water loss. Tobias also had mentioned that SCSU has a program that they could potentially send somebody, what is it, horticulture program? I think you had made some sort of note that that's for summer, right? Talking about lawn watering and.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sewer fund, all major outflows are settled for the end of the year. Major liability on the books is the final pay application for the sewer expansion project. Is that now done or is we still outstanding?
They're waiting
We're still
on
waiting, okay.
them signing paperwork, so.
Revenues at projected levels for that. Gas fund, major outflow would be the kayak payment, which will be billed in January. The recent upgrade has been satisfied. And so the thing about the kayak, which just Tobias wanted me to mention, is we're responsible to track all materials, all installation costs, correct, of the kayak for that.
When we install services.
When we install, yeah.
We've run into some, I don't want to say snags, but I have to do more administrative work because we end up being the prime contractor on certain projects.
So we have to have really good records on file.
And then we will also end up paying use tax now on materials as well when we ask for reimbursements from developers outside of town. The other kayak is, of course, the Northern Kayak that they will bill probably March. I mean, originally, I think they wanted to do it earlier. But yeah, but for our, internally here, the kayak, and we also pay sales tax on the kayak because it's a gas hookup charge. So we have to collect that and make sure that wherever they pay for that, we appropriately report all of that. So, yeah.
Otherwise, that's all I had.
I have a dumb question on this, budget versus actual means of finance. I think minus means we had money left over there, or
It's
we,
exceeding.
Exceeding. That's,
Unfortunately, the report format is not great.
it's over
It's
budget.
over. It should be plus, but
Yeah, okay.
it just produces the report.
I'm
And
just trying to
no,
understand it.
no.
Okay.
Let's call Patrick.
We're gonna call Patrick Glover, our city attorney, so we can talk with Clayton.
Hello.
Hey, Patrick, you're on speakerphone here at the meeting. Mayor Osby and yep, council members. So yeah, we're at the city shop project financing, something you and I briefly discussed on what is the appropriate procedure and how to do it. So yeah.
I think the big question, and maybe I'm off on this, was when you went to the bank for financing, they wanted to make sure that there was some guarantee on the building and that it was competitive, and how to do that, because CDC could build it and sell it to us with the land, but they could do the competitive bidding, whatever is. We need to be able to buy a finished product, but it was the in-between, and I think even us a couple of months ago thought, well, we're gonna build something and not take bids, but I don't know if you could explain that better, Patrick?
Yeah, so when Tobias and I talked about it, there's no problem with you guys having CDC build the building and then you buy the building with the land from CDC. Where it becomes a problem is if you buy the land and then have CDC improve your real property. That becomes a problem because then you're going to be subject to bid laws, because now you own the real property and the improvement upon the publicly owned real property triggers the bidding requirements. So if you want to get around the bidding requirements, you're going to have CDC build it while they still own the lot and then sell to you all as one.
And that's permissible, right? Like we're here like in session, just so everyone knows, like that is a permissible way, because other towns have done it as well, where they use
Correct.
the economic
You
group. Okay.
can buy land and a building together. You can trade, you can do whatever you want. You just are going to have to buy it as a one transaction.
Okay.
You can't do it in the two-step.
Yep.
So can we, so we can't even pay earnest money?
You can pay earnest money. That's an agreement with CDC that says we intend to buy the land with a finished product, and you can put in there what your specifications are with the building and all that. You just can't, the city can't own the dirt at the time and then have the building built after you own the dirt.
Does it matter on the dollar figure for the earnest money?
It does not. You just cannot have a closing and own the dirt.
Yeah, I think last month we had a motion, didn't we, and said we didn't.
I don't know if we set a
Well,
dollar amount, we just said
Well, you
that,
wanted to purchase the land, but then
then we,
End up checking
yeah.
with Patrick, and I mean, there's no
it was
point.
kind of contingent on how the financing was gonna work, and so.
Yeah, well, the financing is, the issue there is the bank needs to know, because of the loan product that
Right.
they're gonna write, is it construction loan, is it conventional mortgage? And then their concern was, well, that was before we knew, how we had to structure this transaction, potentially, was, well, if you buy the lot and they make a leasehold improvement, but you tell them at CDC, oh, we're not buying this, you're out of luck, have fun trying to recoup. That was their issue, was like, well, what's your skin in the game? It's just pretty easy. You will endure it. Someone will make the leasehold improvement, but you have nothing there. So what they want to see is, of course, the agreement that says you will build, if you proceed this way, this facility to these specifications. They just, I mean, bank being a conservative institution, they want to make sure that whatever we do, we have a structured agreement. And then based on that, they will write the product and or do the underwriting. And we, I mean, so far we've been I've been pleasantly surprised by, potential interest rates. Some of them are between 5% and 6%. So they just need to know, and then I need to know, because I don't want to string them along, say, well, do both, because they don't want to do that either. Because,
Sure.
they're,
But it would be just one.
yeah,
And it would be just a straight mortgage thing, because
yeah.
so are we gonna run into problems then with CDC to try and finance the building of the building? Is that where the issue is gonna come up?
That I don't know.
Definitely a topic,
Yeah.
we'd have to figure it out on how we could get funded accordingly, throughout the procedure of construction the project.
And that's where I would talk to the bank again, but I just need direction, so I can tell them, hey, this is, and how can we structure this, where you do we do it, for example, Patrick, what I have to ask is, if you do construction, progress billings, 50% done, 25% done, here you go, here's,
Yeah, if we could do it in even quarters,
yeah.
that would.
Yeah, you guys can certainly do things like that as long as you don't have a closing. All those details on how you figure out how the city's gonna do it with CDC and figure out that stuff, I can't be giving advice either way on that, because I represent both of them, unless we have a conflict,
Yeah.
a weird conflict thing, but I can just procedurally say that's fine. Procedurally, from the city standpoint, they cannot own the dirt
Okay.
and then have another entity improve that piece of dirt either in any way without doing biddings, assuming the building is going to be over the bidding requirements, which I would assume it would be.
No,
And Patrick, this is a pretty common, I feel like I see quite a bit of towns that go through their economic development corporation to do projects like this, and then they turn around and then as the city take ownership when it's complete. It's it's not like we're reinventing the wheel here. This is a pretty common,
Correct.
practice.
You are not, to use another metaphor, you're not plowing the ground.
right?
okay.
So Patrick, are you saying you couldn't help write the wording or the contract between the city and the CDC, or how do we get that?
I think Patrick's saying he can't give us.
I can write it, but each side's got to sign off and say that they understand there's a conflict of interest and you're waiving it. It's got to be in writing. That's part of my professional rules of conduct that I can't, because anything, if there's ever an issue between the two of you, then, because I represent both sides, it's not a confidential, it says, well, one side says, I don't want to do this, but don't tell them I can't do that. So we have to sit down, and the only way I can do it is you guys waive it in writing, which is a simple statement I put together that says you both understand that it's this and that. We did it with CDC with the 605 lot, so we can do it. That's no problem. It's just an extra step.
Should we go into a contract with the city to state that we'll build it and then they buy it when it's done? So that we can protect ourselves and just fund the whole project instead of you guys paying us throughout?
Yeah, however you guys want to do it, I can pay for it. And it can be any of the different ways you said, a big down payment to help it, some progress payments, couched in the vernacular of continued earnest payments, or just a binding contract that says that, we'll purchase the land and the building so long as it meets these certain requirements.
So the key really, Patrick, is between the CDC and the city, we can come up with any sort of payment plan, however this is going to work as the construction is occurring. The key thing is there's just no closing, there's no transfer of ownership until it's done,
Correct,
of land, everything.
correct. Once the city owns the land, then it's subject to bidding laws for any improvement over the bidding minimum.
So, timeline wise, that's something that you're obviously gonna have to meet with CDC about and with Jana, Tobias, anybody from council that would wanna be there. And then, so timeline with that, is that something that we say, could we have it by our March meeting? Is that,
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, if it works really on us and CDC, I mean, I think by the time we get Patrick involved, we already have a pretty good idea of what the plan is, you know what I mean, and how we want to structure this, and then we have Patrick help us put it in writing.
Yeah, I agree 100% with what Jana said. You guys are gonna do the heavy lifting on getting the details, and once you tell me, it's not gonna take me long to paper it up.
okay, well, because Jana's president in finance, I'd really encourage her to be in on those meetings if she can take time off. I've been so involved with CDC personally, I just soon sit back and do it that way and have Tobias involved with it. And, again, if any other council,
Yeah, I'll sit in as
Yeah,
well.
and so I think
It's-
Alan-
It's my project,
Yeah.
basically, so.
yeah,
The only other thing I would think of is what if we potentially got a person looking at that lot come April, May of next year? And, you know, we're trying to hold it for the city, but then if we hold it for them and then the budget doesn't approve and they don't pull through and I lost somebody bought the lot, is there a way that you could come up with a guarantee per se by a certain date that, yes, we're gonna do it? And that way, if we did find somebody to buy it, that we wouldn't sell it to. Because that's the last thing I'd wanna do is wait until next year and then you guys decide that it's not gonna go through.
No, we're moving.
Well, I would
forward.
think if we had something by March
March,
that
yeah.
everybody was signing, that would be part of the,
Yeah,
I think that would be part of what that agreement would be, that would be signed, that would be a,
we won't leave you.
anybody else have any?
no, I mean, it's a valid question.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions for Patrick? Do we need him for anything else?
No, we should be all good.
Thank you.
Well,
Thanks,
thank you,
Patrick.
No problem, guys.
Okay. Code enforcement, animal control. I haven't heard anything from Jenny. I'm sure it's the same usual.
Make sure you clear the sidewalks. If you see people who are not clearing the sidewalks, let us know so we can send out letters. Apparently, that's been an issue. We've gotten some complaints about. And as always, buy your pet tags, get your animals licensed, and,
Golf cart license.
exactly.
I'll mention that, and the only reason the city's doing this, it's not so we can get another $10. It's because you're not legal unless the city adopts a policy. The state or the county can pick you up, but if we adopt the policy and you pay the $10, then and get the license, then they can't give you a ticket. That's my understanding.
Yep, that's the whole reason why. So,
Okay, for anybody listening.
One thing on the CDC, so the covenants that are on that ground, is that enforced by the city now, or?
city would not enforce covenants, would be the
That
developer.
would be, okay.
Yeah.
Even when it's all sold,
Yeah,
because there's one individual which needs to be fenced in and so it's kind of sloppy, but I mean.
No, that's the covenant enforces that.
yeah, because we had that issue in like the CHRC where people are like, oh, are you gonna enforce the covenants? And it's like, no, because the covenants are laid right there, like stuck to the property, like people who buy it actually, they agree that, oh, I'll stick to these covenants right by default, because that's.
So it's still our responsibility as CDC, even if the ground is all sold, we still would be the ones to send the letters stating
For covenants, I mean, if
Yeah.
it goes against planning and zoning, I mean,
Yeah.
that, the city would step in if it's a
Step in
planning
and
and
do
zoning
that.
issue.
Or
But
if
if
it
it's
violates our
covenants
rules.
above and beyond the planning and zoning, then yes, it's on the developer to enforce the covenants.
It needs to be fenced in, he's not gonna build a building just because he's got all of his shit scattered everywhere. You could have just called me. Sorry, I didn't want to do that here.
Well, yeah. I'll just say for homegrown, not Crooks homegrown, but for a guy that's starting out on his own, and I met him after I became mayor, he's doing good and, more power to him. He's been able to buy that lot and keep a business going and working 3 jobs and, we can't just turn a blind eye, but, I think you're one of the success stories from Crooks. Plus, he is also one of our, volunteer snowplow operators.
Did you, I know you came in a little late, did you have something that you,
I did,
No.
I did talk to you guys.
Yeah, that's,
okay.
All blowing snow back to the street.
Yeah, we should publicly say that. Don't blow your snow
Yeah.
into the street.
yeah.
Put that in the minutes.
For the city, there are quite a few residential roads. I'm not gonna name individual houses at this time, but
That's word for
actually,
word, that's
Yeah,
written
that's
in
actually in the
the,
ordinance, like,
so that is something
you
that we
should actually
could,
let us know because.
Yeah.
and what people need to realize is when you do that, you screw your neighbor.
'Cause then you
They
pick it
take
up with the
snow and
plow.
put it in your neighbor's yard.
Yeah.
Mm.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure that's specifically
Yeah.
called out in the ordinance, so that is something that you technically could give specifics and we can send letters for that, or Jenny can.
That was all I had.
Okay. I do agree with you. I've seen it too. I agree.
So funny with the fence.
Okay, other business, election date and combine with the school on that date, of April 9th, 2024. So we need, a motion.
Yeah, I'll just motion that we can go ahead and coordinate with the school. They said April 9th. I called them in.
Yeah, they
December.
met last night, didn't they?
Yeah, and, I was gonna reach out after our meeting just to see, I mean,
Okay, I'll make a motion to set the election date for April 9th and coordinate with the school.
Second,
All those in favor?
aye.
Can you, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Can you confirm who's up? Because I never remember from,
I'm gonna finish this, opposed, same sign, motion
okay,
carried.
sorry.
Alderman,
Yeah.
Ward 2, 2-year term. Alderman, Ward 2, which is, right now, none of these terms are held by a specific person because we didn't have nominee. So Alan and Eric would be up and Mike would be up.
So 2 years,
2-year, 1 year.
1 year and 2 years?
Yep.
So everybody but me and Butch.
Yep.
Yep.
So,
And the reason Eric is
Because he's
because we
appointed.
appointed him, he has to be on, we appointed him, and so.
so is Alan.
He has
Yeah.
to start over
Is there
with the
stuck
election
around?
now.
So if he has to start over, why doesn't he start over at 2?
Because they only fill the seat until the next regularly scheduled election. So, and then to keep the staggering, so that's why.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So that's fun. We have like an Excel spreadsheet to track who.
And then, they have to have their petition signed and in by,
February 23rd at 5 PM or registered, postmarked by that date and time. So. you can
February
start-
23rd.
You can start circulating your petitions on January 26th.
And then we just not too long ago kind of counted the wards, didn't
Yep.
we? Yeah, so that should be good. Okay.
So whoever, if someone picks up a nominating petition, usually we give them like how to circulate it. The nominating petition, which we don't help fill out. We just look at it. And one thing I'll say now is whoever from the public or whoever circulates one, make sure the thing is complete. Once you have it turned into us and it's incomplete, the whole thing.
And get extra signatures
Get
because you
extra
never know.
ones. So, yeah, and if you have questions, what you can do is you can access, some issues are because we have streets in other wards where just like have 1 or 2 streets, you can access the state's voter, VIP portal, voter information portal to see who's registered in which ward. So it's exciting stuff.
Okay, resolution 2024-01, a resolution of the City Council of Crooks, South Dakota designating an official newspaper, which we have as Minnehaha Messenger. And we need a motion for that.
Move to approve.
Second.
Is that roll call?
No, but
All those in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Resolution 2024-02, a resolution of the City Council of Crooks, South Dakota declaring support and adoption of the 2023 pre-disaster mitigation plan for Minnehaha and Lincoln County. And I'm just gonna say that Tobias has probably worked on that and with
CCOG.
CCOG, and so, we need a motion to approve it.
Move to approve.
Second.
And the key part, if I could speak on this, is this makes the city eligible for like FEMA grants, so when you want to do like the bathroom and all that. So, good stuff.
Okay, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Both same sign, motion carried. Resolution 2024-03, a resolution of the City Council of Crooks, South Dakota designating the depository for municipal funds for the year 2024. And we have listed First Interstate Bank, Relia Bank, and South Dakota Public Funds Investment Trust. A better word is FIT, F-I-T.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Both same sign, motion carried. Resolution 2024-04, a resolution of the City Council of Crooks, South Dakota transferring spending authority from the contingency function to meet the obligations of the city for 2024. And this would be funds for economic development, SMGA. Am I correct?
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Resolution 2024-05, a resolution of the City Council of Crooks, South Dakota to purchase real property as provided for SDCL 9-12-1. And this would be for the water tower property.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Resolution 2024-06, a resolution of the City Council of Crooks, South Dakota, writing off uncollectible utility billing accounts. And if you look at the second page of that,
Is this I mean, I know we do this every year, but is this amount a little greater than normal? Or just-
No, so we don't write accounts off until they hit 6 years or where the collection efforts would cost more than the account is worth. Now, this being said, I've tried to collect on the 87 cents and on the penny. I try to collect on everything. Some of them, when they meet the 6-year mark, by state statute, we cannot pursue it anymore. And some of these accounts are just, so I've spoken to collection agencies, and if it's less than $5, and if the amount is so negligible,
I have a penny. You can
Well-
write off the one right here. That's a penny.
well, also, if they should ever come back to the service area, they have to pay a double deposit. But some of these accounts are also like, when you see the really large ones,
The runner one.
yep, the Renner one, and even the one in Crooks there. some of them include late fees, and us backing up the software could potentially damage our data, so there's another consideration, because if the software being installed, if we cannot reduce it to the principal, we should just write it off. All the other accounts that we have outstanding, we're all gonna send either to collections, or I'm gonna fill out the small claims paperwork, and then we're just gonna get default judgments and try to garnish their wages, but these are just uncollectible at this point, and just no point in,
Move to approve.
there you go.
1 second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Resolution 2024-07, a resolution of the City Council of Crooks, South Dakota, adopting an investment policy for public funds of the municipality. And you want to explain that a little better?
Yeah, so we have an investment policy on the books, but it's all over the place. It's not, I mean, it's pretty much as this, but there are some inconsistencies. This just cleans it up, and we have to have an investment policy as a city by state law. So it's just, rather than us asking for motions to invest like idle funds, I'll just coordinate with Jana and Butch, be like, hey, here's an opportunity to put some money aside. And then just, ensure that we are, liquid enough, but also trying to get as much interest as possible. And it just puts an official like guidance on the books that says, you will do it this way. And I think it's just sage business. It's a simple one. There's more detailed ones, but we don't have the manpower nor the funds to do what other towns do, where they work with treasuries notes. I mean, it's just, that would make it a lot more difficult, and an investment guy told us not to do it because we're not, large enough for the cash, so it's just.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Resolution. Yep.
Nope, no.
Okay. Resolution 2024-08, a resolution of the City Council of Crooks, South Dakota, supporting regional economic development in the city of Crooks' capacity as a participant in the Sioux Metro Growth Alliance, and appointing a representative to its membership advisory board for the 2024 year. And I guess Mike has done it last year, maybe the year before, and I just go along with Mike Arstead doing it again. I found out I could go to those meetings because I'm the mayor, so, and I've gone in place of Mike when he can't go, so I think it works out okay.
So do we need a motion to approve the resolution and then just state that Mike will continue to be our appointee? Or how do you want that to be?
Motion to approve the resolution and designate Mike Arstead as
Okay.
appointee and Mayor Osby as alternate.
Okay.
What you said.
Yep, that.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay. 2024-09, a resolution by the City Council of the City of Crooks establishing compensation for municipal officials and employees. So this is the
Pay raises.
wage scale, as you can see on the front page.
I'll move to approve. Oh, sorry.
Now, is this the one that
Yeah,
I,
we abstain.
yep.
Okay.
So I'll
You
abstain
move.
from this vote.
So
So
you got a second?
you made a motion.
I made a motion to
Oh,
approve.
okay, second.
Eric seconded it.
And I abstain.
Jan abstained, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Okay, this is an agenda item, and it's to open a South Dakota FIT account and add funds for water depreciation pursuant to resolution 2023-21.
So this is so last month we approved the $10,000 reserve, so now this is opening the fit to move that 10,000, correct?
And
Okay.
then do that until that motion is rescinded.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Another open the South Dakota Fit Fund and add funds for sewer depreciation pursuant to resolution 2023-22 for $15,000 per year.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Add funds for general fund operating reserve depreciation pursuant to 2020, resolution 2023-15. We're establishing
Same
a
thing, yep.
reserve for the general fund.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Amendment to the personnel policy, and I guess, you want to add to that?
Oh, sure, I mean, if you guys want to listen to the fun
He's
stuff.
just cleaning up some of the stuff that we did last year,
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
highlighted
Okay.
in yellow.
Yeah, so you have all the highlights
Yeah.
back in there. It's just, some of the things we don't enforce, like that, with the salary, getting times a half on holidays, it's just to make some portions, and I didn't catch them, didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Other ones are, looking in hindsight, probably are not the best policies, so it's just like cleaning it up. And just, yeah.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, now we gotta go to my last page.
That's it.
Amend, we did that, right?
Mhm.
Amendment to personnel policy.
Mike's not here, so Alan,
Motion to adjourn.
second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.
Let's check our camera right away.
Turn your mic off, please.